What's going on, everyone? MSD here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. Werewolf by Night. I got him from the prize wheel at the Player Summit in Vancouver, and I was lucky enough to get a 4 to 5 Mystic rank up gem on that same prize wheel, and that allowed me to take him straight to rank 5. And let me just tell you, this character is sensational. He has genuinely impressed me further beyond my expectations. I was initially a little underwhelmed with his whole loop and how his playstyle ended up. It seemed a little awkward to me, but once I really got a feel for how to use him and properly executed his playstyle using the Howl and managing my power bars efficiently, I have fallen in love with this character. So this is going to be a little showcase with some Act 8 content and then some Battlegrounds fights of just how awesome Werewolf by Night is. Now, fair warning, most if not all of these fights have been taken during the full moon, so Werewolf starts each fight with an additional 3 lycanthropy charges. That doesn't make or break him, but it does add to the speed of his ramp up. If he didn't have these 3 additional charges to start, all you would need to do is either wait for an additional Howl or throw a special one before you do your second Howl, so you can build up another threshold of power to gain your lycanthropy charges that way. And of course, Howling also grants you lycanthropy charges. This won't be a guide. Maybe I'll release one of those sometime next week. I just want to do a showcase video, and then maybe I'll do a 3 minutes or less werewolf video. But here we go with the Werewolf by Night. Okay, first up here we have a bishop from the Battlegrounds Gladiator Circuits. This is, I believe, a rank 1 7-star bishop. I could be wrong, but we're using Werewolf here, and the goal is to do a full 5 or a full 6-hit combo, end on a light attack just to get some additional ruptures, and then dash back and immediately Howl. So every time I cross a bar of power while the opponent has a rupture debuff on them, I gain an additional lycanthropy charge, and the same goes for when I Howl. If I Howl and the opponent has a rupture on them, I gain an additional lycanthropy charge. Once I get to 10, I launch my special 2, and Bishop just melted there. He has like 220,000 health, and 1 special 2 just absolutely ruined him. So this damage is nothing short of fantastic. I tried to get to an additional special 2 here, but I think I ended on a light, so my power was not high enough, or I didn't get enough power from that light attack to push myself there, but it's totally fine. This is a rank 5 Nick Fury. This is when I was pushing yesterday to C5. I'm like sitting at the top of C5 right now, and this was one of the fights on my path to that push yesterday for those additional 7-star shards from the BG solo milestone. This rank 5 Fury fight is ridiculous. I even mess up a little bit, but the mess up only helps me, and you'll see why when we get to it. So I'm triggering the Howl during the idle animation in his special 2. I throw my relic to get the vicious passive, so my rupture debuffs deal more damage. And again, the name of the game: get to 10 lycanthropy charges, throw your special 2, and you're just having a good time. So I trigger the Howl again, go for a light intercept. I know his Fury buff is going to expire, so it's going to push me to another special 2. Perfectly time this second special 2 so that the energy damage and the additional ruptures are activated during his second life. I get clipped there at the end of his heavy attack. I was trying to trigger the Howl, but for some reason it doesn't trigger when you're close. You have to somewhat be far away, so I got clipped there, but all it's going to do is provide me with some willpower healing. I throw a special 1 because I know the power from Mystic Dispersion is going to push me over. I go for another Howl. Again, working in that Howl is one of the most difficult parts of his entire loop, because you have to know when you're safe to idle and when you have to kind of back up and either throw a light attack or just hold block after your Howl. So that's something I can cover in a Werewolf guide, potentially. But here we have a rank 4 Rintra, I believe, 250,000 health. Rintra, very annoying if you don't have a tactic attacker, but as long as you keep those buffs up, you can handle him, and you'll see Werewolf do just that. This fight is nasty. I wanted to start off with the Battlegrounds fights because they go so quickly. As you can see, already fully ramped up to 10 lycanthropy charges. Again, if I didn't have the full moon giving me an additional 3, all I would do is either wait for an additional Howl or throw a special 1 and then Howl again. So it takes a few seconds longer, but honestly, it's not a game breaker, or it's not a deal breaker, should I say. And he's still going to be just as effective without the additional charges from the full moon. But there's another special 2, and Rintra is down in, I believe, 52 seconds? Yeah, 52 seconds, 100% health finish, absolute domination. So, let's go to a little Act 8 path here. This is 8.3.6. This is the Cerastes quest, the Mystic chapter where you have parry vulnerability and then the Neutralize node. I didn't play into the Neutralize node that much. I really just focused on the parry vulnerability and waiting for buffs to expire to fuel my power bar, which in turn fuels my lycanthropy charge gain, because again, whenever I go over a threshold of power, I get an additional lycanthropy charge and another lycanthropy charge if the opponent is ruptured when I go over that power threshold. So thinking of that, another relic that would be great for him would be Scarlet Witch, because he's constantly going over bars of power without actually hitting the opponent, so he would get even more power. But I really like the Ghost Rider relic because of that vicious passive that you get. I feel like it really helps his damage because his ruptures are all benefiting, should I say, from that vicious passive, as well as the the potency increase that he gets for power gain from the Ghost Rider relic also helps when the Howl triggers, because I can howl and then I get even more power from the Howl than I normally would have. So that was a 500,000 health Hyperion in less than 60 seconds, and most of the fights on this path are going to be around that either 50-second mark or a little over a minute. That's sick. Of course, we have a full synergy team and the parry vulnerability, but even so, it really doesn't matter. The damage is just ridiculous, and his playstyle, it's so quirky. So I've seen some complaints about his animations being very clunky and not feeling fluid, and that's totally fair. I completely see where people would have an issue with his animations being a little wonky, because I agree, I think they are a bit on the wonkier side. I don't think they're the smoothest in the world, but if you're okay with prioritizing light attacks and light intercepts over mediums, you're going to like Werewolf quite a bit, because Werewolf's medium attack is not my favorite in the world. I really do not enjoy the speed at which it is traveling and the animation itself, because he stops short on his medium dash because he goes for a bite, and that can cause him to miss, and it allows the opponent to dash out of the medium and get a sidestep and counter. Whereas if you go for his light attack, he's got pretty good range on his light, so you don't have to worry about the light attack getting missed, because the light dash is going to travel further, and he's not leaving himself vulnerable after a medium dash like he would on his first medium. So yeah, we're just getting the ruptures on. The key with Werewolf is you need to start either just do a medium, dash back, and then howl. You need to start with the ruptures and the howl. That is the key to his loop. You absolutely have to start with the ruptures and then the howl. So it gets the ball rolling, and it allows you to really start speed running through the opponent's health, for lack of a better term. One special 2 in Cable, it's already down to 30%. We're howling again, benefiting from Mystic Dispersion, going for a dash in, went for the reverse intercept there. Another special 2, not as much damage this time. We were missing the Fury, but even still, without the Fury, he's going to die from the ruptures from the special 2, as well as the bonus energy damage from the final 3 hits of the special 2 while being in the Curse of Lycanthropy. Now this Super Skrull fight is very fun. One of the most fun fights on the path, probably the most fun fight on the path. We're going in here with 79% health, and I believe we're going to heal quite a bit. Maybe that's not this fight, maybe that's the next fight, but regardless, this Super Skrull fight goes quite fast. So I just howled, so I already have 7 lycanthropy charges because I howled, and then I crossed a bar of power. So now I'm just trying to build up to my special 2. There it is. Get the nice big energy damage from the special 2. I dash in to just save myself on spacing, even though it wasn't necessary. One thing I did not know about Werewolf's kit is that if the opponent has 2 or more buffs on them, if you're out of striking distance, the Curse of Lycanthropy is paused. So that's a great piece of utility for Werewolf, especially because you want to be using him in buff heavy matchups, that's a really solid way to maintain the curse and not worrying about staying hyper aggressive and having it fall off. But that was a 50-second Super Skrull fight. Just ridiculous. Werewolf is absolutely crazy. He is crushing this path with and without the Fury bonus from parry vulnerability. He is taking this path to town, and he's not paying for dinner. He's leaving them the check, and he's walking away. Get a nice light intercept there. His light reach is actually solid. It's better than I expected it to be. He does have that claw animation, kind of similar to Venom and Venom Pool, but I was scared that the distance wouldn't be nearly as much and as prominent as like Venom and Venom Pools, but it actually travels quite far. So we howl again, we trigger the unstoppable and unblockable. That is thanks to the Sig ability. You only need Werewolf at Sig 1 to gain the benefit of that unstoppable and unblockable. Just to go over what it does quickly, when you're above 1 bar of power, if you howl, you gain an unblockable passive, and then if you're above 2 bars of power, I believe, you gain an unblockable and an unstoppable passive. Although it might just be if you're below 1 bar of power, gain unblockable. No, it has to be above 2 bars of power. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But essentially, if you howl at certain power thresholds with the Sig ability, you gain additional effects, i.e. the unblockable and the unstoppable. So I even got hit here a little bit, but we're just regenning up from Nimrod's debuffs and our own regen from the Curse of Lycanthropy. Of course, Nimrod did turn it off because he was in his Eradicate mode, so that's a little annoying, but even so, does not matter. Werewolf took care of him in about 80 seconds, I believe. So this last fight here is the Labyrinth of Legends Old Man Logan. He's got a lot of buffs, 1.5 million health, and I threw on the White Magneto pre-fight just so I didn't have to worry about my parry stuns running out. Even though Werewolf doesn't necessarily need a parry, it's just nice to have for a damage showcase, especially one where you're trying to show off how effective a character can be in a high buff matchup with a high amount of health. So we start off with a nice special 2, decent amount of damage, even without any type of fury, anything like that. He's down 10% immediately. That was 150,000 damage, roughly, from that first special 2 cycle. The goal here is to have Old Man Logan trigger his frenzy. Of course, this is the Old Man Logan, for lack of a better pun. So he has these berserker charges that expire one at a time. Once you trigger, I believe, a critical hit, you have a chance to have him go berserk, and then he gains a bunch of furies. So I am just trying to get to my special 2 while I maintain the curse. Of course, the curse just fell off there, so that's a little annoying. But I get to another special 2. The special 2 deals ruptures regardless of the curse being active, so that's nice just in case you need to throw it if you're getting too much power from Mystic Dispersion, like I was there just now. I threw 2 special 2s back to back. I just had too much power. So now I'm in the curse again, so I get the bonus damage from the special 2, as well as the increased rupture potency and ability accuracy. We're just cycling special 2s now. His health bar is melting. Doing a little howl during his special 2 animation. Again, using that howl, it's very similar to how Stark Spidey would use his smack talk to refresh his taunt. It's the same interaction, I believe, under the hood. It's just idling for 1 second and letting your character do their little animation. So if you're a Stark Spidey player, you might enjoy Werewolf by Night as well. And of course, I am a Stark Spidey player, so I love me some Werewolf. And yeah, this is really coming to the end of the video here. This guy's going to drop fairly soon. We're going to do a few more howls here. Throw maybe a special 1 to manage my power a little. Yeah, throw a special 1 here. One thing to note, Werewolf special 1 is currently bugged. He's not nullifying any regen or precision buffs like he should be, so expect that to be changed, as well as his interaction with strikers. The curse is supposed to pause during strikers, and it is not currently doing that. So be on the lookout for those bug changes, or those bug fixes. He's going to be even better than he currently is. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.